Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this town board regular meeting to order. It's Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. The time is 6:32. I would like to ask everybody to please rise for the pledge, but along with that, afterwards, would you please remain standing for a moment of silence for Judge John Fusco.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get into the agenda tonight, we have a special guest, a presentation to the town, some words about our town and everything he's done for it. I'd like to ask Dr. Kevin Cressy to the podium for a few minutes and speak about what we have out here on display in front of you all.
Well, thank you very much. So in retirement, I've taken upon myself to take pictures of the town. A lot of them have been posted in the Dover-Wingdale Facebook group, and they seem to be appreciated. Some of them are natural history, some of them are historical, and some of them are just pretty pictures of the town. I've had my eye on a location at the northern end of town for half a year and waited for peak foliage to take a picture south of the Stone Church hiking trails from an outlook that I spotted literally months ago. And this past Friday, I went over there and took a picture that's a conglomerate of 7 portrait pictures stacked in a horizontal manner to allow this poster to be made. It's the poster of the town. It extends from East Mountain on the left-hand side to West Mountain on the right. There are mountains that are distinguishable in polling in the background. I estimate it probably captures about 85% of the township of Dover Plains. Being real quick, 10 Mile River Preserve, East Mountain, Scattercook Mountain, Nellie Hill, Dual Hollow. On my photograph, you can actually see the old hang glider launch pad that's behind Boise Park, Oniontown Flats, the cliffs where Route 22 and old Route 22 intersect. This is Sawmill Hill, which is by Dover Furnace Road, Corbin Mountain, West Mountain, and Dobar Hill. So it really does capture quite a lot. And the poster is everything that I hoped it would be. It's very, very clear. You can actually see the high school from there, Crooked Hill. And I don't really want to start a second business as far as selling photographs, but I want people to see this. I think it's something that's valuable that people would appreciate. And I would like to donate that photograph to the town, and with the hope that I could sell prints of the poster at cost. The cost for me is $30 to print a poster, so that's what I would sell it for. And I actually have 5 already sold, so it's popular. It's something that seems to be good. So if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them, but really all I want is to show how pretty the town of Dover can be, especially in the fall foliage with the afternoon golden glow of the sun hitting it just from the right angle. So thank you very much. Any questions or no?
We have some other pictures here that Kevin has taken throughout the town. That's on Dover Furnace, the old mill.
That's not here.
That's Tupper.
That actually, we have eagles along the 10-mile river. The pheasant population, or the abundance of pheasant from the
Kinda
10
drew 'em
mile
in.
river, they seem to like it. So I actually have a nest on my own property. He was taken, this picture was taken on the Hudson, but we do have bald eagles in the area, especially in the wintertime.
Wow.
That's, what's that? Golden eagles and red-tailed hawks. A lot of. This is in Connecticut, actually, not too far away. Hudson River. Hudson River. Hudson River. That is in Rhinebeck, looking towards the Catskills, Burger Hill, and this is Dover Pines.
That's from your house.
That's from my house.
Wow.
So when you said pictures of Dover, it was only the two.
Yeah,
I thought it was more.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah, someone you did the historic.
Well,
Yeah, there's a few others that we've done.
Doc, I want to thank you.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I always called you Doc at work. Me and Dr.
I'm
Cressy,
retired now, so
we worked together at DFY when it was open, the youth prison. So, but I want to thank you for that.
Oh, no problem at all.
You know, the one we talked about, which they're both the same, but we're going to talk to Katie later.
Yeah,
We'll have a frame made
I'll
up.
keep that for now, but I mean,
Yep.
if you can do something along those lines, that'd be great.
We appreciate the one, and a frame will be made for that.
Sure.
And we'll hang that here or somewhere where
Yeah.
everybody will see it.
That's great.
But I want to thank you very much, and keep posting the pictures. They're good to look at, right?
Yeah.
I will as long as I'm able to. That one was scary.
Get some of them deer in your lots. That'd be nice. I want to
Doctor,
thank you again, Mr. Cressy.
yes,
and,
Doctor,
appreciate it on behalf of everybody up here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
can I just ask one question, just in case I can fill in the public? Doctor, together those 7 portraits, were they
So,
time over?
the Photoshop is an application that can be used. And what it does is it uses artificial intelligence to align the pictures. But the thing is that because each photograph has probably about 28 megapixels of information, this poster has 300 megapixels of information. And to put that into perspective, when you look at a cell phone picture on Facebook, it's 1.6 megapixels of information. So when somebody looks at that picture on Facebook, they're seeing a really crappy rendition of that. But when you see the photograph itself, you actually can see, and that can be blown up probably 3 times the size of that and still be quite clear.
Yeah.
So.
Are they, did you take them over different days or all
No,
one
It
day?
has to be done consecutively.
Okay.
Right then and there. I actually did probably 50 or 60 pictures that afternoon, 7 at a time. And I waited. If you look at the picture, you'll see sunlight on some of the mountains and not. It was partly cloudy, so I kind of waited for the sun to be better. You know, click, 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 and then, yeah, no, let's do it again, until I was more happy with the result.
Wow.
So.
Well, thank you
Fabulous.
once again. We
Awesome.
much appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, oh, if you're interested in buying a poster, by the way, go on Facebook and you could private message me and I will give you the contact information. Basically, if you send me a check for $30, I will actually have a printer mail the poster directly to you. That's kind of how I think of
Doing
it.
business.
Who are you on Facebook?
Kevin Cressy. Kevin Cressy. And you could find me again in the Dover Wingdale.
Can you spell the last name?
CRESCI. It's actually, there's a watermark on the corner of the poster. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, public comments and/or questions on agenda items only. If you have a comment and a question on the agenda items only, please approach the podium. Seeing nobody approaching the podium, we'll move on. At this point in time, I move we open a public hearing on the 2024 Mill and Cricket Hill Drainage District assessments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by myself, seconded by Murphy, to open a public hearing on the Mill and Cricket Hill Drainage District assessments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Public hearing is open. Anybody have any questions or comments on the Cricket Hill Drainage District assessments? Seeing nobody approaching the podium, I can let you know that the proper adjustments in the budget have been made, which were zero, because of the fund balance is adequate, and that is according to our highway super who maintains those areas. So if we have no other further comments, I move that we close the public hearing on the Cricket Hill Drainage District assessments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by myself and seconded by Councilman Murphy to close this public hearing on Cricket Hill Drainage. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is closed. Public hearing to consider the adoption of local law to authorize the override of the property tax cap.
Supervisor, I think we're going to do those public hearings separately, even though they're grouped together. Can you do one for the Cricket Hill Drainage District now?
Did that one.
We just did Mill.
Oh, I said Mill and Cricket Hill.
Oh, I'm sorry, did you say both? So we can,
Yeah.
can we group them together?
Yes,
Okay, that's fine then.
both
Just want to make sure
stated,
that okay.
so we're good?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. A motion's been made and seconded by myself and Councilman Murphy to open the public hearing to consider the adoption of local law to authorize an override of the property tax cap. All in favor of opening?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is open. Anybody has any comments or questions, please approach the podium. I will say one thing on this right now. We've done this in the past. We haven't done it in a few years, but due to my favorite quote of last meeting, the cost of doing business, such as a $20,000 increase in fuel in the last 3 years, an 11% increase in insurance, a $65,000 increase in health coverage, we had to bring this to a public hearing to the possibility of overriding the cap just because it could happen. And we'll discuss that later in the discussion for the resolution to go from tentative to preliminary. You'll hear all the comments about that. Anybody else would like to have a question answered or make a comment on this local law to override the cap? Seeing nobody approaching the podium and no further comments being made or questions being asked, I move that we close the public hearing to consider the adoption of a local law to authorize the override of the property tax cap. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by myself, seconded by Councilwoman Jackson to close this public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Public hearing is closed. At this time, I move we go into continued public hearing, an updated draft of solar energy legislation. Do I have a second to open it, to reopen it?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue with the public hearing on solar legislation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Podium is open. If anybody has a question, do we have a signing list?
Sure.
Seen a few people have approached there for this one.
No, Amy, do you want me to just put you in? Yes. Amy, sorry. Let's write your name in. Okay, so there's the names.
The first one signed up on the list for this public hearing is Frank Mancuso. Please approach the podium.
CO2 fear is the most destructive force on Earth. It is given to well-meaning people by utility CEOs poised to make trillions by giving us that fear. It's estimated that the Green New Deal policies will cost us $150 trillion. A large portion of that will go to China, which manufactures about 90% of all the hardware, solar panels and parts of the wind turbines, batteries, so forth. The mandate of utility CEOs is to replace oil with their electrons. That's suicidal. Both solar and wind need fossil fuel to be built as a backup, using even more energy. Their battery backup can only provide energy for a few minutes. Utility CEOs' greed will take farms, wild places, waterways, and natural photosynthesis systems that naturally manage CO2, like expressed in that photograph tonight. CO2 isn't our enemy. It grows all our food, supplies most of our oxygen, and keeps us warm. Millions or more people die of cold than heat. 2 degrees in 100 years is not worth destroying Dover for. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The sound just quit. Give me a minute. Jill, you're next, but give me a minute. The sound just quit. Sound's working here, but not out
Yeah,
there.
it's out there.
It's good? All right, we'll get back into it. The next speaker on the list is Jill Fieldstein.
We'll do that after the meeting, okay? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Jill Fieldstein, Dover Plains. I had asked Katie to put Dr. Cressy's beautiful photograph back up so we could look at it and look at the beauty of Dover and Dover Plains. And can you imagine, if we were looking at that picture, if that landscape was filled with large solar fields, which is allowed under the law that you are proposing? A few weeks ago, I submitted comments that include a concern about the waiver language, that everything, all the prohibitions that are set forth in this law could be waived. And the only response I got from this board was, well, the setbacks cannot be waived. Well, who cares about setbacks when you're standing in the position that Dr. Cressy was standing in and looking at the beautiful views that make up Dover. And now those views will be filled with solar panels. I ask you to wait on this law, think about this law, think about the impact it will have on Dover and the beauty of this place if our landscape is filled with solar panels. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Any comment? No? Amy Brenner, is it Brenner? I'm sorry, Brenner.
Hi, I'm Amy Brenner. I live in Wingdale. I've lived there for over 30 years, and my husband's parents bought the property, so it's been in the family since the 50s. It's a great place to raise our kids. I'm appalled, though, with the disregard that the land around here has been getting lately. I've been in here quite a bit over the Harlem Valley Homestead, and I was shocked that the town allowed that to go forward with a conference zoning without any SEQR or EPA oversight. We saw the eagles that Dr. Cressy saw. I've already talked, they're already disappearing from that area. That stretch of 10 Mile River is clean. You can eat fish from it. I know this is beside the point. But here we go again with another. Cricket Hill went in. I was really unaware of it happening. We don't have a newspaper anymore. I didn't know about it, and that huge monstrosity is there now. And now you're proposing to allow these solar panels to put a huge scar on our property here. It's a poor town, but there are more people moving into the area from other places since the pandemic. I don't think that we have to rely on allowing something like that to happen to support our town. And I hope that there will be some oversight, and the EPA will be involved, and that there will be more public hearings. And I wasn't really prepared to speak, but I just wanted to say that.
I have no other names. Anybody else?
Good evening, Charlie Quibby, 81 Cricket Hill Road. I urge this board to reevaluate the framework of this law and advocate for only permitting solar for on-site consumption, accessory use, and small community use. Like our neighbors in Pauling and many other villages, and not large-scale facilities, as has been drafted. We deserve projects that generally benefit and uplift our community, both economically and environmentally. Cricket Valley provides power to 1 million homes and businesses, but not ours. Iroquois provides natural gas to 3.2 million homes and businesses, but not ours. These projects, be they solar or otherwise, are all touted as the most advanced, energy efficient, and environmentally friendly. However, the reality is far from the idealistic image painted by the project sponsors, as we all know with Transco. These projects collectively and cumulatively discourage the right kind of development that our town needs and would benefit from most, like a supermarket, medical facilities, and locally owned businesses that create local jobs. These large-scale energy facilities only harm our town, our residents, and the delicate ecosystem and natural resources we treasure, and for many, the reason we live here. It appears that the town is encouraging large-scale utility development by permitting large-scale solar facilities in this current draft. This will inevitably lead to these panels filling our farms and cutting our forests. And since they all receive a pilot, they pay no or nominal tax while doing so. Again, Pauling and many other towns have taken the opposite approach. Why are we doing it differently? Now is the time for change. The board must do what is best for residents and future generations of our beloved town. If this board fails to act in the best interest, rest assured that there are other candidates who will. The lack of questions and critical and independent thinking and failure to do what is right for us is glaring and unacceptable to many, including myself. In closing, I urge the board to eliminate tiers 3 and 4 from the draft law and only permit accessory use solar and small community solar for up to 1 megawatts. Our town has sacrificed enough. We've done enough. We've done our fair share. Let's keep this to following Pauling's method, which I think is very clear, easy to understand, simple, and doesn't allow for larger facilities, basically. Let us stand united in ensuring Dover's future is shaped by decisions that prioritize the well-being and prosperity of our town and its residents. Dover first. Thank you for your time and consideration this evening.
Anybody else? Any comments from the board? Jackson?
No.
Deputy?
Good.
Maluda?
I'm good.
Mr. Murphy?
Nope.
Any discussion on whether we keep this open for one more meeting? And take into consideration what was said tonight? Or do we move to close it?
Open.
I'll leave
Good
it
idea.
open?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll leave it open?
Yeah.
All right. Gonna make that a motion, Sue?
Motion, we leave it open? Leave the public hearing open?
Motion's made, and I'll second to keep the public hearing open. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Reports from the Recreation Department, Highway Superintendent. Julie, you want to go first, please, because I got to find Jason's.
Julie Muncy from Dover Recreation. I just want to thank everybody who came to our Narcan training last Wednesday, October 18th. We had a pretty good turnout. I want to thank Dutchess County for offering this free program, and Mike Barkley for getting it started for us, so we can have this great training. It's a great service, and hopefully we'll never need to use it. We did leave some of the Narcan kits here at Town Hall, as well as at the Recreation Park, and everybody who attended got a kit as well. If you do want a kit, you can go up to Dutchess County and they can give you the kits. You can get a hold of them. There's a number on their website if anybody needs a kit, and you can do the training online as well. This weekend, we have Trunk or Treat, and that's Saturday, October 28th. We start at 1 p.m. Anybody who's going to have a car, I'd like for you guys to register so we know how many cars are coming. You can go to our website. That's www.doverrecreation.com. And if you are going to come, please be there by 12 o'clock so you can decorate. You have enough time to decorate your car. People do come a little bit early, but we don't let them in until after 1. We do have a special performance by our senior center. They will start their little dance at 1 o'clock. It's just a few minutes, but it's very cute. They're also giving candy out for at their cars as well. And then we have our pumpkin patch, so you can do pumpkin picking, donuts, cider, and it's a fun day for everybody. So. Sorry. And also, oh yes, we have Harlem Valley Sweet Treats coming. They were there at Dover Day, and they sell popcorn, so they'll be there selling popcorns. They have many varieties if you're interested. Our tree lighting ceremony and holiday fest is on Saturday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. at Boyce Park, weather permitting, obviously. We're asking for food donations that they can stuff the sleigh, and that's for the Center of Compassion Pantry. We have a toy drive, and that's hosted by the Harlem Valley Compassion Connection annual toy drive that they do. They've done that the last few years. We're going to have a bucket down at the Recreation Park if anybody wants to drop off a new unwrapped toy. We'll be giving it to them that night. So then usually a week or two after the Holiday Fest, they'll do a day where they give out the toys to everybody in the town. Our basketball season starts November 28th. You can register on our website. If anybody wants to coach, please just give our office a call so I can put your name down, and games start in January, the first Saturday of January. We have Kitty Corral, that's on Tuesdays at J.H. Ketchum Memorial Park from 10 to 11. They just went to Sukup Farm. They had a great time. The kids had a good time. They had and homemade donuts, so it was fun. Our Zumba and boot camp programs are on Wednesday nights at Wingdale Elementary School. Our senior program is on Monday and Thursdays at the American Legion Hall from 10:30 to 2:30. On Monday mornings at 9:30, we have line dancing for the seniors, and on exercise, we have exercise with Terry on Thursdays starting at 8:45 at the Legion Hall. And that's about it. Any questions?
We got the emails on and I'll discuss it a little bit during the
You want me to wait?
talk later
Okay,
on the revenue page, so
okay. You got it.
Jay and I talked about it.
All right, thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Jason's report, Andrew, please.
Report for the Highway Superintendent. During the month of October, the Highway Department has been working hard at grading dirt roads in Dover and Wingdale, preparing the roads for the upcoming winter season. They will continue to cut back overhanging trees and branches over various roads in Dover and Wingdale for the next few weeks. Highway Department fixed the catch basins on White Farm Road in Wingdale, which has been an issue for a period of time, and they still have a few more catch basins to go this year. Jason met with FEMA and New York State DHS for site inspections on Mills Bridge on Ridge Road. It went well. Jason and Terry have been working closely with FEMA on recovering monies from the July 9th and 10th storm damages. The Highway Department started blowing leaves off roads through Dover and Wingdale and will continue to do so as weather permits. Jason would like to thank his hardworking team for all their efforts. Jason Sartori, Highway Superintendent.
Thank you, Andrew. Reports of the supervisor and the town board members. Councilwoman Jackson.
Just wanted to, the Dover Plains Library would like to announce they have an information program about Medicare on November 2nd at 6 p.m. Call the library if you'd like to register for that. And the Dover Wingdale Teacher Association has a turkey raffle walk or run to benefit the Center of Compassion on November 19th, so call the school if you want information about that. That's all.
Thank you. Councilman Maluta.
All I have is that I'd ask everyone to enjoy any and all of the Halloween displays that are throughout our town, and be respectful of people's property. And also, Halloween is Tuesday. Everybody be safe, and we'll see you Saturday at Trunk or Treat. That's all I got.
Councilman Murphy.
So stop by the Legion. Steps are coming along nice. It'll be very happy when everything is all said and done. Long time coming. Saturday, Julie mentioned, Trunk or Treat. Everybody has a great time there, so we look forward to seeing everybody. And that's my report for this month. Julie, I know we talked about the rates for next year. That I thought we did a great job on that one. Thank you.
I have that for...
I know we're going to talk about it, but put a lot of work into it, so thank you.
Good?
My report, yep.
All right, buddy. Deputy House?
No report.
Okay. Supervisor's report. There's a couple things I'm going to talk about, and then you'll hear some other things in resolutions later. There was a letter that went out from the Dover Water Company. It is a hot topic right now, especially now that we're in the budget process, and once we receive the letter, again, things are going up, and I had to add upwards of $6,000 into the budget since the tentative was served to you all. The estimates on the increase that they are asking for will add upwards of $6,000 to our budget for our expenses into the water. That is for our buildings that we own, along with the hydrants. So, what I do want to talk about is I was given a letter that will be sent to the Public Service Commission from the fire department. I've talked with council today, and I would like your support, board members, to write a letter on behalf of ourselves and the residents of Dover stating that this increase in my eyes is ridiculous. I understand things are going up, but to go up 67% and then on top of that an escrow with no time that I can read in that letter of how long that will be collected for. I think a stern letter on behalf of ourselves, the town, and the residents with our town be written and signed with support from the four of you, sent to the Public Service Commission. And do I have that support?
You do.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Tommy will discuss and
Yep. I'll be
pen that. Thank you very much. Second, I talked about last meeting, the separation of the cost from the fire protection and the ambulance. That is a little more entailed than what we were led to believe. So we are going to continue to look into it and work on it. It will involve a local law, forming a town-wide district. So we're going to discuss that in the next couple months. And it wouldn't have been done in time to get onto the bills that would be mailed out January anyway. So we're going to look into that and work on that to separate so people can actually see the difference between the fire protection and the ambulance protection, the ambulance service. Okay? So we're going to be working on that. We met one more time today on the Text My Gov program. We finalized some details, talked about some little minute changes. Myself and Katie, confidential secretary, and our deputy clerk, we had a Zoom meeting today to discuss it. We are looking to go online November 1st, we hope. All right. I think it's going to be a good thing once everybody learns how to use it, including ourselves. But Katie, would you like to add anything to that?
Sure. So just as a brief recap, it's an app-based service where residents and the public can type in a few keywords, FOIL, town board, and it will direct you to places on our website which has comprehensive information. It also has a reverse feature where if the town has timely messages to send out, a snowstorm causes a closure, we can actually send out to people who are opt-in to receive a text. So it'll be a great way for anybody to get information from the town 24/7 from their phone and not a desktop. And it'll be a quick, easy, accurate, and kind of efficient way for the town to communicate with folks who want to have news conveyed by text.
Thank you. Anybody else? Good. So that's going to be coming along, and like I said, we hope to go live November 1st with that. Going back, I just missed something. Going back to the water issue, the letter, I just found the paper. There is a website you can go to, www.dps.ny.gov. You will then click Commission Files, File Search, enter 23-W-0467, and post your comment. To this date, this letter has been out 3 weeks? 2 at least?
Maybe 2, yeah.
At least 2, going on 3. Only 2 comments have been made. But yet I've received, I don't know how many phone calls saying, what can I do? The Dover Water Company is a privately owned company. Okay? It's their business. But we, after talking with council today, we have the right to speak our piece, just like anybody else would. All right? So you need to go to that, and what we'll do is we'll try to post that, if we can legally do that, and so that way people can see it. Okay? So that's the website. I just found that from before, sorry. That's all I have. Anything else? Good?
Good.
Good. All right. On the resolutions. Resolution to authorize and approve consent agenda items. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby approve the following items for consideration and adoption on the October 25th, 2023 Town Board regular meeting consent agenda. Authorize the payment of abstract number 10 of 2023 in the amount of $355,590.34. Accept minutes of the Town Board meeting of September 27th, 2023, and special Town Board meeting of October 11th, 2023. Approve the Town Clerk's report for September 2023. Approve the Town Supervisor's financial report for September 2023. And authorize budget transfers, budget amendments, and payment of all abstract purchase orders as prepared and submitted by the town's bookkeeper. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion brought by Maluda, seconded by Murphy. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Resolution renewing contract for mowing and trimming in Town of Dover. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Dover hereby authorizes the renewal of the contract for mowing and trimming for 2024 in the Town of Dover, and hereby renews the contract with Tri-County Landscaping at a yearly rate of, that's going to be different, correct?
No,
Correct.
That's fine.
the resolution's correct.
The resolution's correct, okay.
Second
Of $38,500 for 2024 in the Town of Dover, and whereas the Town of Dover has requested that Tri-County Landscaping also complete mowing and trimming at JHK Park in the Town of Dover at an additional fee of $3,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby authorize the renewal of the contract with Tri-County Landscaping for 2024 for mowing and trimming, and authorizes the Town Supervisor to execute the necessary contract renewal and amendments to the contract that include mowing and trimming at JHK Park. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Brought by House, seconded by Murphy. Discussion. My mistake. I thought that 3 should have been in there. That's why I asked that. Any other discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Resolution adopting a determination of non-significance pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEEKR, to amend Town Code for taxation for senior citizens and low-income disabled exemptions. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Dover has undertaken to amend the Town Code regarding senior citizens and low-income disabled tax exemptions, and whereas the amendment to the Town Code for taxes in Local Law Number 2 of 2023 would increase the yearly income eligibility for senior citizens to qualify for an exemption, as well as establishing income requirements for low-income disabled residents. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover, as lead agency, determines this action to be a Type 2 action under SEEKR, and determines that no significant adverse environmental impacts will result from the adoption of the local law establishing an exemption for low-income disabled residents, and increase the yearly income eligibility for senior citizens to qualify for an exemption, and that no further action is required under the SEEKR. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by House, seconded by Jackson. Discussion. If you all remember, this is what was brought to us by our assessor and the research that we'd done, and we all felt the numbers were just too low for them right now. This needed to be done going into next year. So here it is. All right. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Resolution authorizing the adoption of Local Law Number 2 of 2023, amending Chapter 131 of the Town Code of the Town of Dover entitled Taxation, establishing an exemption for low-income disabled residents, and amending income eligibility for senior citizens exemptions. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Dover desires to amend Section 131 of the Town Code entitled Taxes to increase the income eligibility for senior citizens to qualify for tax exemptions, and to establish an exemption for low-income disabled residents. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Dover authorized Town Council to prepare an amendment of Chapter 131, Article 11 of the Town Code entitled Senior Citizen Exemptions and Low-Income Disabled Exemptions, to initiate the process of environmental review of the proposed local law under SECRA, and to set a public hearing date on the proposed local law for September 27th, 2023 at 6:30 PM or as soon thereafter as public comment could be heard. Whereas, notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the Poughkeepsie Journal, the official newspaper of the town of Dover, for the time period required. And whereas, on September 27th of 2023, a public hearing was held at 6:30 PM at the Dover Town Hall, and all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf of or in opposition to said proposed local law. And whereas pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to said Article 8, State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQR, it has been determined by the town board that adoption of said proposed local law would not have the potential for a significant negative effect on the environment and could be processed by other applicable governmental agencies without further regards to SEQR. And now, therefore, be it resolved that in accordance with the authority granted to it pursuant to the New York State Constitution, Municipal Home Rule Law Section 2, et sec., the Town Board of the Town of Dover hereby adopts said local law number 2 of 2023, as a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part of this resolution, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to enter said local law number 2 of 2023 in the minutes of his meeting and the local law book of the town of Dover, and to give due notice of the adoption of said local law number 2 of 2023 to the Secretary of the State of New York, and the town clerk and supervisor, if necessary, are hereby further authorized and directed to take all actions necessary to file local law number 2 of 2023 with the Secretary of State. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, brought by Maluta, seconded by Murphy. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilman Maluta?
Aye.
Aye, did you
Aye.
say? Okay. Councilwoman Jackson?
Aye.
Councilman Murphy?
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor House?
Aye.
Supervisor Eno?
Aye.
Bye-bye.
The ayes have it, so carried. Thank you. Maybe we didn't do those attachments, correct?
Nope.
Resolution authorizing the use of Laserfiche cloud system as part of town's records management. Whereas the town of Dover has hosted a successful intermunicipal shared electronic records management system partnership since 2015 with the towns of Amenia, Beekman, and Northeast. And whereas advances in technology have informed the town's decision to utilize a Laserfiche cloud site license starting in 2024 for storage of inactive electronic records, for records posted on the town's website's public records portal and the town's automated FOIL submission web form. And whereas electronic records management through a Laserfiche cloud site license will improve functionality of storage and security of town documents and decrease the long-term annual cost of record storage. And whereas the transition to Laserfiche cloud solution will require the town's role as lead agency in the intermunicipal electronic records management partnership in assisting our intermunicipal partners explore their future records management storage options. Now therefore be it resolved, the town of Dover hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute an agreement with ICC Community Development Solutions to purchase a 3-year Laserfiche cloud site license and support services that includes data migration of its entire electronic records repository to Laserfiche cloud storage, a rebuild of the town's FOIL web form application, use of Laserfiche proprietary I'm a little dry. Cloud storage and staff training at the cost of $9,700 in 2024 and $5,000 in 2025 and 2026. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion brought by House, seconded by Murphy. Discussion. Madam Clerk, you want to touch base on this a little bit,
Sure.
please?
Sure. So we began this partnership between the four communities back in 2015 when Dover was the lead agency, and we have been partners for the past 8 years. I review grants that we wrote years ago now, and over time I've seen that many municipalities have moved their storage needs to the cloud. It's more efficient. This move would be more functional in terms of being able to use our programs not so much in concert but independently, and it costs less. And the time has come where our in-house server needs replacement at $40,000 to $50,000, and our partners are agreeable that in this case it would be better for us to move to cloud storage than to keep things in-house with the accessory needs of IT support and other types of things that would be costly for the town. So I'm recommending that we move our, at this time we have 700,000 plus documents in our repository, which would be the equivalent of perhaps 150 boxes that we would have to store if we had them in paper version. So it definitely is a good thing, and we have instant access to it, and most of our departments have access to their files, not to all the files, but they have to the files that they relate to. And so I'm recommending that we go with this for the first year for the migration, the rebuilding of some of our workflow processes, and then afterwards, the cost drops to $5,000 a year, which is very modest in comparison with what we've been paying along.
But compared to the servers we were going to have to replace, we're saving upwards of 25 plus K.
Yeah, probably all 40,000 of the server at least.
If you reviewed your budget, it is in there. So, any other discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Resolution authorizing the hiring of substitute seasonal driver for the Town of Dover Highway Department. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby authorize the hiring of the following: Dave Sartori to the position of seasonal substitute driver for the Town of Dover Highway Department for the 2023-2024 winter season at the recommendation of the Town Highway Superintendent Jason Sartori at the hourly rate contained in the IBT Local 456 contract with the Town of Dover. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by House, seconded by Maluta. This is something that's done every year. No real discussion is needed. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Resolution accepting 2024 highway materials bid. Whereas pursuant to Section 103 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York, which requires that all expenditures for materials which exceed $35,000 be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder, and whereas the town clerk of the Town of Dover has published proper notice for the solicitation of bids in the official newspaper of the Town of Dover for the purchase of materials for use of the Town of Dover Highway Department for 2024. And whereas bids were received by the town clerk and the Town of Dover, and whereas it has been determined that the attached list has the lowest responsible bidder under the general municipal law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover hereby accepts the bids for the following bidders as attached hereto and made part hereof in the amount of stated for the materials needed for the operation of the Town of Dover Highway Department for the year 2024. I don't have the list.
It's in your attachments.
Yeah, we got them here.
List has been reviewed. Proper decision has been made. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Accept this resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Carried.
Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing. Jason?
Resolution authorizing rejection of tree removal and tree trimming proposals. Whereas the town of Dover advertised for tree removal and tree trimming for the town of Dover for 2024, and whereas only one proposal was received. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Dover hereby authorize the rejection of the proposal received for tree trimming and tree removal for the 2024 in the town of Dover. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by Maluda, seconded by House. Any discussion? That's quite obvious. I believe the one that responded was from Long Island.
Yeah, no,
So,
not happening.
seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Resolution authorizing the purchase of Recreation Department equipment. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby authorize the following Town Recreation Department equipment purchases in the total amount of $5,292.96 with funding from the Recreation Capital Reserve Account as approved by letter received from Kevin Katowski, the Recreation Commission Chair, dated October 18th, 2023. Coach Cliff's Gaga Ball Pit, $3,257. Home Depot for related supplies, $685.96. Rules and regulations signage, $1,350. Two signs are at $650 each, Palmer Field and JHK Park. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by Murphy, seconded by Maluda. Discussion?
Thank you, Kevin.
This is something,
Once again.
this was on your wish list, and I,
The signs were definitely needed. They were faded and
okay.
desperately needed.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So carried. Resolution adopting tentative budget as preliminary budget for the 2024 and notice of public hearing. Whereas the tentative budget has been filed with the town clerk of the town of Dover, and whereas that pursuant to Section 108 of Town Law, a public hearing must be held by the town board upon said preliminary budget on or before the Thursday immediately following the general election. Now therefore be it resolved that the tentative budget, as amended by adopted as the preliminary budget for 2024 by the town board of the town of Dover, and be it further resolved that the preliminary budget sets the following salaries for the 2024 for the following town officials. Town supervisor, $26,780. Town councilman, times 4, at $7,210 each. Town clerk, $53,020. Town highway superintendent, $72,550. Town justice, times 2, $26,630 each. Tax collector, $13,326. Be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Dover has scheduled a public hearing upon the preliminary budget at Dover Town Hall, 126 East Duncan Hill Road, Dover Plains, New York, on November 8th, 2023, at 6:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as public hearing can be heard. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed to have copies of the preliminary budget available in her office for public distribution and review by the public. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by House, seconded by Murphy. Discussion. In front of you, you have your preliminary budget, but unfortunately, after the bookkeeper left today, we received some numbers and some notifications, so they will be added. We discussed, I'll first go to the back page for revenue out of recreation. I got to thank Julie and Councilman Murphy in going over this and updating some prices, so updating some fees, and getting it to where we need to be. All right, it did help, but it's not in your preliminary, but you all have an email sent to you when we received it today. And it did increase the revenue, which helped us a lot. So I thank you for working on that. I know you guys met a few times on that and went over some things. All right? And then the other page you have in front of you, the 2024 tentative budget changes. The first one you see was, remember the typo we had for the supervisor who did not receive anything? It's same as last year, no increase. The budget officer and assistant, that was a mistake. The assistant should have gotten a raise, but it was typoed and put under the budget officer, which is myself. So that was taken off and added to the assistant's line where it should have been. The water, now you'll see that price, that is an increase, okay? That is a major increase. Town policies, addition of the new recreation vehicle to our auto policy increased that line again. The contingency line, I took your recommendations after speaking with you separately, some of you, and you suggested to add $5,000 more to the contingency line based upon the cost of doing business and litigation, all right? Mainly due to litigation. Restoration of Vitals record books, little increase there. Zoning code update, that is for the zoning code committee, all right? We already have in our budget, along with some grant money that we paid for that guy. We do need to continue. I met with the committee today, so that was added. I knew it was going to need to be added. We just had to talk about a figure, and the figure on our end is right where we talked about earlier today. All right, and we will be putting in for another grant to help fund that position, or that consultant's fee. All right? The other one, general fund, the medical insurance, there you go. NISHIP rates are still not solid numbers, so we figured at the high end, there's the increase there. The garage band, we received after a tentative interest rate. So when you see it, you're going to see the number of $9,374 that we actually did find, along with those increases that I gave you just now. But then late this afternoon, we received the mowing confirmation, okay? So what it did is it changed that number by $1,500. Even though the increase was $3,000, you got to remember we budgeted for $40 and the bid came in at $38,500. So there's the $1,500. So minus the $1,500 from that $9,374, we are now at a $7,874 change. And with the cutting that we've done and the fine line, I am happy to say that right now we are at 1.99%. Without final numbers from NISHIP, and I think that's it. So we're at the cap. But I didn't put in the full $6,000 for water. We still need to discuss that. Again, this budget is a working project until we vote it in or out the 15th of November. Okay? So that's where we're at. Any questions? I got to thank my office staff, Lizette and Nicole and Tracy, as well as some of the department heads that I've reached out to since our tentative budget meeting. Thank you for adjusting and understanding. It's a tough year. It's very tough. And the problem is you got to do what you got to do. All right, so.
The original budget, though, was built at, what, 2.3? And then
Yeah, I came in at 2.3, but then we had,
all the work and everything?
yep, then we had another increase come in, which took it over 3. And then Nicole and I, mainly Nicole, she'll sit there and dissect every number and call me and say, this is what I think we need to do, and we'll talk about it. And that's where we're at. Again,
Still a good budget.
insurance don't come in till middle of November, but yet the state tells you
Yeah,
you got to have it in or before or on the 20th.
right.
Last year, we got it December 1st.
Still a pretty solid budget.
Yep.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've, yeah, a few extra gray hairs. Any other questions?
You're gonna vote on this, right? Okay, very good, thank you.
Yep. Sue, any questions?
No.
Andrew, bud?
I'm good.
Jan?
Good. All right, good
Okay.
job.
Okay. So I read the resolution. We've discussed the budget. I have a motion made and seconded. All in favor of making the tentative budget into a preliminary? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you all very much.